A woman in a lab coat had seen some strange things in her time, but nothing quite like this. She lifted a boy's shirt and stared in stunned disbelief. No belly button, just smooth, featureless torso, like a mannequin that had come to life, and was now wondering where to put his lint. This woman, a doctor named Nicole, did what any rational person would do when faced with an anatomical mystery straight out of a sci-fi novel. She brought him home. From the moment she stepped through the door, her household imploded like a family game night where someone flips the Monopoly board. Her teenage daughter screamed like she'd just seen a horror movie villain in her bathrobe. Her son screamed like his Xbox had been deleted. Her husband looked at the boy like he'd brought home a radioactive waffle iron. Nicole had no idea what to say, though he has no navel probably wasn't going to win anyone over. Still, she refused to send him away. The boy, who had literally appeared in the woods the day before, naked, goo-covered, and wide-eyed like a baby deer, had wandered into town, poked at cars, sniffed hot dogs, and ended up in juvenile detention. He didn't speak, didn't understand language, and had the same facial expression whether you gave him ice cream or told him the world was ending. At juvie, the staff named him Kyle. Kyle quickly realized that mimicking people was a solid life strategy. If someone picked up food, he copied. If someone glared at him, he blinked and got punched. When he wet himself in confusion, the staff decided maybe this kid needed something stronger than 3 square meals and a cot. That's how Nicole got involved. During their first encounter, Kyle stared at a picture like it was a sacred relic, then casually redrew it with the kind of precision that makes printers feel insecure. He also copied Nicole's facial expressions, which would have been charming if it hadn't looked like a weird mime audition. The staff all but begged Nicole to take him home temporarily. When they showed her the blank stomach real estate where a belly button should be, she finally agreed. But as soon as Kyle arrived, chaos exploded like someone had armed a toddler with a chainsaw. Nicole left him in her daughter's care, which went about as well as asking a cat to babysit a parrot. Distracted by her boyfriend, the daughter completely missed Kyle wandering off and breaking into a neighbor's house like a very polite burglar. Inside, he heard piano music and began crying. Not from sadness, but from what might have been his first emotional experience beyond confused. The neighbor, a pianist named Amanda, saw Kyle and nearly flung herself through the wall in surprise. Kyle, nonplussed, simply walked back and hid in a bathtub, which he'd already decided was the most logical place to exist. Later, Nicole's son Josh came home, opened the bathroom door, and had the kind of reaction normally reserved for discovering a ghost doing calculus in your sink. He ran screaming. Books flew. Sanity fled. Nicole walked in and, in rapid succession, discovered a traumatized son, a destroyed bathroom, a neighbor at the door complaining about a strange shirtless boy, and a neighbor's daughter, who now had a major crush on Kyle after one look into his soulful, unknowable eyes. He had that effect on people like a human Instagram filter. Nicole's husband Steven returned home and hugged her. Kyle, observing this, took notes. In Kyle's rapidly developing brain, hugs were now a mandatory part of every human greeting. At dinner, Kyle, despite not understanding language 2 days earlier, suddenly started speaking fluent, if hilariously awkward, human. Everyone was shocked. Kyle, however, was just regurgitating every sweet nothing Lori had whispered into her phone to her boyfriend, with perfect accuracy. At the dinner table, in front of the entire family, Lori nearly imploded from embarrassment and fled. Josh ran a quick intelligence test and discovered Kyle was a genius. Nicole, intrigued beyond reason, took Kyle for a brain scan. The results? His brain was firing on all cylinders? Actually, double cylinders? It made Einstein's look like a rusted lawnmower? The doctors were baffled. The family was bewildered. Kyle just looked at a lamp like it was a spiritual totem. Despite the insanity, the family began adjusting to their new non-belly buttoned house guest. Josh had to share a room with him, which meant sleeping next to someone who never slept. Kyle just wandered the house at night like a caffeinated Roomba. One night, Kyle followed Lori to a party, drawn by the noise. Mimicking the other teens, he drank. Bad move. His first experience with alcohol ended in spectacular projectile vomit. The police arrived, as they do in every teen party, and started arresting everyone. Kyle, still fiercely protective, burst out of hiding, faced the cops, and hissed like a rattlesnake. It wasn't particularly threatening. It was just deeply confusing. When the officers tried to grab him, Kyle instinctively disarmed them. Not maliciously, just efficiently. The police backed off, and Kyle walked Lori home like a gentleman who just mugged your law enforcement. Back at home, Stephen had a computer disaster. His important project was lost. Blue screen. Panic. Kyle saw the mess, squinted at the error messages like he was reading the Matrix, then walked over and fixed the entire system in less time than it takes to microwave popcorn. Stephen laughed. Kyle shrugged. It was Tuesday. Josh came home to find his room spotless. Kyle had cleaned it, every corner, every drawer. Even found Josh's lost study materials? When asked why, Kyle gave a hauntingly accurate paraphrased response to an earlier offhand comment. Josh started questioning his own memory. One night, Kyle hugged Nicole from behind. She jumped, thinking it was Stephen. Nope. Just Kyle mimicking once again. It was awkward, yet heart-melting. Kyle had been watching and learning everything. He wasn't just copying, he was absorbing humanity like a sponge in a hot tub. Nicole decided they needed answers. She took Kyle to the dentist. His teeth were perfect, as in, freshly manufactured. The doctor was deeply unsettled and kept glancing around like Kyle might suddenly eject from his skin and reveal alien circuits. Then came the cherry on the mystery sundae. When asked about his past, Kyle said nothing because, according to him, there was nothing. He remembered no family, no childhood, not even a favorite cereal. He was a human enigma, with perfect molars. Later, Kyle tried sleeping. Nicole taught him to count sheep. She woke up the next morning to find him still counting. Well over 100,000. It had not worked. Stephen began questioning this whole let's adopt the cryptid idea, blaming Nicole for the mounting weirdness. Kyle overheard. His heart, metaphorical and possibly literal, cracked. He disappeared. The family freaked out and called the police. But when you report a missing boy with no identity and a bathtub fixation, cops don't really have a playbook. Eventually, Nicole remembered a place Kyle had drawn. They found him in the woods, staring at the stars like they owed him answers. He'd gone there so his family could find him. He didn't know what family was, but he wanted one. Back home, someone finally gave him a bath and discovered he was calmed by static. Not metaphorical static, literal radio static. It was like spa music to him. For the first time ever, Kyle slept in a tub with a radio. Meanwhile, the cops made a disturbing discovery: human remains in the very forest Kyle came from. This was now a murder investigation. The victim had a strange symbol carved near the body, and lime poured over it, like a mobster DIY project. They asked Nicole if Kyle could be involved. Nicole was horrified. Kyle had no wounds, no memory, but also no alibi. She asked Kyle about the symbol. He said he'd never seen it. Later, she discovered that his doodles, when pieced together like a cursed puzzle, formed the same symbol. The family was cracking. Lies were flying. Kyle got caught in the middle. When he couldn't take it anymore, he climbed the roof. Stephen joined him. Sometimes a rooftop heart-to-heart is the only thing that works when your bathtub-loving genius might be a murder suspect. Kyle kept trying to do good. One day, he leapt off a roof to fix an antenna and scared Amanda so badly she crashed her mom's car. Kyle tried to take the blame. Amanda's mom wasn't buying it. She told Kyle to stay far away, which hit him like a ton of socially rejected bricks. It was the first time he lied, and it hurt. Meanwhile, Nicole discovered the police had ID'd Kyle's parents. A couple arrived claiming Kyle was their long-lost son. Their story: Kyle had surgery as a baby that removed his navel. Also, he always slept in bathtubs. And he liked white noise. Totally normal child behavior. Kyle saw baby photos. They looked like him, kind of. He didn't remember them, but DNA confirmed it. Nicole was heartbroken. Kyle's time with them was ending. Still confused, Kyle visited a church and was promptly targeted by a secret organization who apparently viewed his existence as an oopsie in the universe. Kyle passed out and had visions. In them, he saw Tom, a mysterious man from earlier, killing a man named Feldman. The scene was grim, but revealing. Kyle woke up. Tom admitted it was true. Feldman had wanted Kyle gone. Tom had protected him. The plot thickened into a whole other genre. Turns out, Kyle wasn't born, he was made. Grown. Designed. Tom had sent him to juvie to hide him after Feldman's death. Nicole's family had just been the best cover. Armed with new understanding, Kyle accepted the parents, but with caution. He pretended to remember, but inside he knew. He was something entirely different. The mystery of Kyle's origin was just beginning. But one thing was certain: he still didn't have a belly button. And there you have it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting and romantic movie recap. See you next time.